Oh, I just love that we just go right into the stream. There was an intro video we had, and I don't know what the fuck happened to it. It was bigger or bolder or louder or better, all that fun stuff here. The New York Giants Straight Talk Online Big Blue, all that fun crap. We're gonna talk about, of course, the New York Football Giants. We also have the Knicks tonight, so we got to stay prepared and keep prepared for that matchup. We need this win, guys. The Knicks need this win. We're going to do everything we possibly can. Want to talk about Giants mini camp, rookie mini camp, and all the fun stuff that went on during there. I want to talk about Jackson Dart because happy Monday, Dan. I have some confusion with Jackson Dart. And I don't know if I should get into Jackson Dart immediately, but I have some confusion with Jackson Dart and the highlight videos that they're posting. And they're always showing this one duck pass from Shador Sanders. All Giant fans. Oh, look at that duck. He threw a fucking ugly duck. Well, Eli Manning threw ducks in games. But then they forget to mention that the unofficial stats for Shador Sanders was like 32 or 33 day one, and then like 40 out of 42 day two. But I'll get into the Jackson Dart highlights in a second because I have some confusion on the highlights because I want the kid to succeed. I want the kid to do well. I want the kid to be the Giant quarterback of the future because we picked him 25th. But I am confused when someone like Pat Leonard says it's going to be hard for the Giants to keep this kid off the field. And then literally I watched a throw, and I'm going to get to Massey's comment, and I'm going to stick it to everyone. I literally watched a throw that was a highlight. Now remember, guys, this is rookie minicamp. None of this fucking counts. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what he does. Doesn't matter what he doesn't do. It doesn't matter. But I watched this throw, and his ball placement was terrible. And this was a highlight. He threw it to the wrong side of the wide receiver. He threw it to the inside instead of the outside, which if he would have thrown it over the receiver's left shoulder, it's a touchdown. But the receiver literally had to pirouette and come back for the ball to catch it. And this was a highlight. And I'm watching this going from a football perspective. That is not good ball placement when the undrafted free agent wide receiver has to make your pass catchable. Now there was another pass they showed, another highlight that he dropped it right in the bucket. Good 40-yard pass, hit the receiver in stride, put it right in his bucket, right in his breadbasket. Good ball. He threw it to the inside of the wide receiver where it needed to be, where he could actually catch the ball and accelerate and gain a yak. That was a good highlight. I want to get to Massey. Massey puts in the super chat right away. I love Massey because we still donate all super chats to the Philadelphia Children's Hospital. So I haven't really been saying that lately because I haven't been trying to extort super chats from people. But we still give all of our super chats away. Just watched George Sanders' presser. He is a naturally likable, won over the Browns reporters with his humor and what personality is Jackson Dart? What attitude you want to see from him, Tim? I was talking to James Williams about this on Saturday. Because I actually liked the fact, and James didn't really like the fact. He was like, well, what, it was his high school? I actually liked the fact that, I'm not picking on James, he's my brother, but I like the fact that Jackson Dart literally asked reporters, could you please tell me your name so I could put a name to the face when I see you, down the hall, which I thought was not, which I like because it takes confidence to stand up at a press conference. I've been in press conferences. I've led press conferences for corporations. It takes confidence to stand up in front of a press conference and see all these people in front of you and not know who they are and not know their names and not know what questions are going to be asked. It takes an air of confidence to sit there and say to yourself, okay, I'm taking control here a little bit. You need to tell me what your name is so I can make sure that I'm going to recognize you properly. I like that. I actually like that because Daniel Jones was like, I have to do better. Pat Leonard. He was Daniel Jones on some of these pressers was a robot. I like a kid with a little bit of personality. He's got to get rid of the heart-shaped necklace. I understand it was a gift from his sister, and I know his family's a little bit well off, but you got to get rid of the heart-shaped necklace. I call it the heart-shaped puka shells. Could you please just and you're in New York. The clear granny glasses that you wear, all you need is that little gold strand that goes around them so you don't lose them. Come on, Jackson. You're 20-something years old. You're in New York. You're wearing granny glasses and diamond puka shell necklace that's the hearts. Come on, man. Just, Mac out. You're potentially the quarterback of the New York Giants. Mac out a little bit. When I lived down in South Beach for years, I wasn't the quarterback, but all I ever wore was Armani. Come on, show a little style, show a little flash. I like Abdul Carter. He is Abdul Carter is channeling his Easy E, because they're looking for the one they call Easy. He's channeling Easy E, which I loved. I love a little swagger. It's not just a body wash. And that's all I want, Jackson. I want some confidence. I want some swagger, Massey. I think he's going to be likable enough, because when you have 5+ years of the statue known as Daniel Jones, I'm trying, being on the Believe Network, I'm trying to make myself a more professional. Fuck that noise. But you want to be, you want to be likable. Great example with Daniel Jones. Year prior, you just signed a $160 million contract. Year prior, you go to whatever country music concert he was at. I don't know country music. Shockingly, shockingly, the guy that still listens to his LL Cool J, Cool Mo D rap battle tape from the 80s on cassette doesn't know country music. I know. But Daniel Jones signs $160 million. He goes to a country music concert and he's walking into the stadium alone. And fans are yelling towards him, and he's not really being nice about it. And I was thinking to myself, I'm an NFL quarterback. I'm the quarterback for the Giants. I'm going to have a freaking entourage. I was nobody, and I'm still nobody, and I used to have an entourage. I go to games, I still have an entourage. So I just want him, Massey, to be him. You know what the best thing is? Be yourself. Don't let all the outside influences in reference to the media get into your head. Because Brian Daboll seems to be extremely happy that Jackson Dart's here, and that's what you want. You want your head coach to have a belief in his quarterback. You want your head coach, I'm going to take my vitamins, you want your head coach not to throw an iPad game one at your quarterback. So, like I said, all the people that are upset that that Daboll's dancing around and, being all excited about and shit, because that's fine. It's May. Everyone's undefeated in May. Let's have some enthusiasm a little bit. People say I'm negative. Let's have some enthusiasm. Why not? But we have to get to the Jackson Dart highlights again, because I am truly befuddled by him, and it's not the kid's fault. People always say, when you talk about this, you're picking on the kid. I'm not picking on the kid. I'm picking on the idiots that are anointing him the greatest Giant quarterback ever, even though we've had that for 5+ years. And the pass he threw as a highlight, if you look at it from a football perspective, was not a good pass. But it's posted all over social media. I'm watching it question. In a game, if you throw the ball to the inside instead of to the outside over the receiver's shoulder, and the receiver literally has to contort his whole body the opposite direction and slow down to catch the ball, you don't think that's going to be really bad in a game? But I have to see it's great. And they don't highlight, like I said, I saw this one pass, 40 yards, thrown to a guy down the middle of the field, hits the guy with proper ball placement, puts it on the inside, drops it right in his bucket, and the guy continues in stride and continues to run. That was a beautiful ball. That's the pass I would have highlighted. And like I said, I wasn't at the practice. There may have been 40 different great passes. I don't know. But those are the ones they choose to highlight. Skyline, what's up, Skyline? Good morning, everyone. Dan the man. This countdown music is way better than the old stuff. Dude, it's professionalism here. I even have the, do I have it? Shit, do I have it? Yes, I even have the offer code today for mybookie.com. Our one of our partners that it's going to be partners through May 18th, I think it is. We're gonna read. I'm not gonna. They want me to do this spot like me, but I'm just gonna read it this time because we're just gonna get through it this time because we're gonna read it and figure it out. We're gonna do it together. But I even have the offer code. I didn't have the offer code on Monday. Dan the man, what's up, Dan? Happy Monday, Tim. Hope everyone had a great weekend. I know I did. James, the Giants' future is now because Mara wants results now to end the story. Shane and Dable are gone. The whole topic of this video. And I got a more in-depth podcast video coming out about this, is literally the future is now. Your Abdul Carter pick, your Jackson Dart pick, what you've done in free agency, you need to win. I don't care what the schedule will be damned. I don't care the schedule. You need to win. You need to put some W's in that first column. Because of the fact that if you take a look at the way you structured the cap and these deals and these rookie contracts, you need to win now. You need to win. Your window is the next 3 seasons. So you cannot waste 2025. You need to have an opportunity to try to make the playoffs. Every moment you take a quarterback 25th overall on a first round deal, I still think you could have got Jackson Dart at 30. What was it, 34th? I still think you could have got him at 34th. Yes, you would lose that 5th-year option. But we saw with Daniel Jones, that 5th-year option is not that important. You could have did the Jalen Hurts model with a 2nd-round pick, and you probably wouldn't be putting exactly in the win now mode. But you have to win now. It's plain and simple. You have 3 what are supposed to be standout defensive ends in Kayvon Thibodeau and Brian Burns. Okay. You went and took a guy at 3 who was the best player available at 3, but was not a necessity for your organization. Everyone's drooling at the fact that he could potentially play off the ball linebacker. He did that for 2 years at Penn State. And there was Coach whatever, the moron the other day, that was like, well, he had more tackles than Michael Parsons. Okay, well, he also spent an extra year in college. And if you take Abdul Carter's first 2 seasons, they barely equal 1 season to his last season, Parsons. And I always go back to this one stat for Abdul Carter in college. 25.7%. I'm going to say this stat again. 25.7%. That was his missed tackle percentage in 2023 as an off-the-ball linebacker. Penn State moved him out of necessity, because in 2024 they lost a defensive end to the 1st round and another one to the 3rd round. They moved him out of necessity, but they also understood the logic of using his speed to get around slower guys that are going to be working at Lowe's. I would usually say Home Depot here, but maybe Lowe's is going to be a sponsor. Being at Lowe's. And they understood that, and they took advantage of that. And everyone points out, well, Tim, 24 tackles for losses. Okay. College scoring is different than NFL scoring. There's like, I mean, so and it's weird because I talk to people that score games for the NCAA and scored in different schools, and they all say the same thing. Everyone scores a little differently, but everyone kind of scores that if you have a tackle for a loss, that's also included that we'll rephrase it. You have 12 sacks. Most people not only give you that sack, but they also give you that sack as a tackle for a loss. So is 24 tackles for losses is really 12. Even though technically, I kind of never understood that, because a sack is a tackle for a loss. Never. I don't know. I'm not going to try to reinvent the scoring system. So for you to think that you're going to put this undersized defensive end as an off the ball linebacker, they tried it for 2 years at Penn State. It didn't work out well, but they found a niche. So when you take the guy at 3 that is a niche pass rusher that is supposed to go along with your other 2 all-world pass rushers, you understand the fact then that you're trying to win now. You are trying to win today. My thought process was still trade down, get yourself. I like the Cam Scatterboo pick, but you get yourself a big time tight end, get yourself a bowling ball running back, which you did, and reinvent your offense that way by helping maturate and facilitate the growth of number 1. But instead, you went with this pick, which is best player available, which in the NFL analytical logic is what you're supposed to do. But not if you have 2 allegedly Pro Bowlers.
Submitted for your approval. The Ghost Brothers. Nobody needs to be afraid.
So unless you have these 2 guys, you don't need this guy. And you still haven't addressed the linebacker position. You still haven't figured out how Shane Bowen is going to put this cut and paste talent on the defense that does not fit his defensive system into this. There's always these things on Twitter. What's your rating of confidence in Shane Bowen out of 10, 1 to 10? I always put negative 47.5 because of the fact that this guy. We're not going to go through it because we've gone through it before. I go through it on the video today. Literally, his secondaries with the Saints outside of 2 years with Jim Schwartz are god awful. And then this year was no different. You talk about the regression of Tay Banks and his lack of effort, but you also don't talk about the fact that he had extremely poor safety help behind him. That's why you went out and got Holland. And having Dane Belton there, and like I said, I like Tyler Nubin, but I think Tyler Nubin should be a Peppers or a Logan Ryan, back in the day. And, they played 100% of the snaps, but they also played like 72. I think the number was 72% of the snaps they play were in the box. Make him a quasi safety linebacker. I think that fits his abilities more. But then that opens you up to having another dearth in the other safety position, but you still have issues at the linebacker. Because Micah McFadden still misses tackles by the bunches. That needs to be corrected in year, 4? And you kind of get to year 3 or 4 with a player. You're not probably going to correct things that were correctable his rookie and sophomore season. Once you get into year 3 and 4 and you're still doing the same things, that's just what you do. The learning curve, you had this learning curve year 1 and 2 going like this. But then when you go into year 3 and you're still not getting, your learning curve goes down like that. I could tell you that. I could tell you that. I can tell you that from experience. I played safety, and then they're like, I told people, I said they put me in a linebacker one game because all the linebackers got hurt, and I played fairly well the first game, and then they tried to coach me up for game 2. And they kind of figured out in a hurry that I just couldn't do what you were asking me to do. So I've told the story a million times before. And they put me in the middle of the field, and the linebacker coach told me, think of it this way: there's a circle around you. There's a circle, and the circle is about 5 yards, 6 yards around you. I said, okay. He says, don't leave that circle. That's where you're supposed to stay. And the one time I left the circle, bad things happened. So I couldn't learn it because I had already been a safety for 3 years, and then they were trying to do me something that wasn't natural. So, and like I said, with McFadden, when you're still missing tackles and going into year 3, year 4, that's kind of what you are. Oh, T-Rod says Daniel Jones looks excellent in practice year in and year out. He was the best practice player in shorts we had ever seen. Damn, Dart already sounds like Jones. No, Jackson Dart does not sound like Daniel Jones. If you're talking about how he threw the ball, no. First of all, it's rookie minicamp. I got to take a vitamin now. Let's not anoint this kid the savior At least until we get to mandatory minicamps. Then we can annoy them the same. Petro, good morning, Tim. It's is it bad? I'm excited for this season, even though we all know we aren't going to be good. I just miss football. Oh, I do too. I miss football oodles and noodles. Out in the backyard on Mother's Day. Throwing the old pigskin around. I'm excited for the Giants season. I don't think we're going to be great. But I keep saying this over and over again. I said this day one, my day one Joe Shane video. And I just said, I just want to be competitive and I want to see growth. I want to see players come in here and progress year in and year out. That's all I want to see. And I want to see us getting better each year. Oh, someone's texting me. I just want to see growth. I want to see consistency. I want to see the people get better. We haven't seen that yet. And then I read that we fired our national scout because of the fact there was a personality conflict. That happened about a week ago. You fired the guy that you keep. Everyone talks to me now how great the 2024 class is, but then you fired the national scout that helped cultivate this class. I don't know. Captain Matumbo says, "What's up, Admiral? I promoted you." Off topic. If the Celtics take Game 4 with the blowout, is it over for the Knicks? No, it's not over. Because of the fact that the home team is having problems outside of the Cleveland Indiana series of holding serve. So I don't see it being a problem. I mean, do you want to go 2-2 back to Boston? No, of course you don't want to go 2-2 back to Boston. But you also don't want to sit there and put all your onus on Game 3 and then say, okay, it's over. Because we all know.
What? Over? Did you say over? Nothing is over until...
It's never over. I gotta take all these fucking vitamins. I hate these vitamins. I hate these vitamins because I got to get off the pain pills for the knee, and then the vitamins, and then I get bloated because of the pain pills, and then I stop taking the pain pills. But then you're in pain, but I don't want to take Advil, so then I've just said fuck it. I'm not taking anything. I'm just gonna take vitamins. Petro says, as long as we are a competent and competitive football team, I'll be watching. I agree. Deb says, don't you know that's how the kid in Bushwick dressed nowadays? Evidently I didn't. I'm sorry if it is. Okay, I have to admit, he does address. Listen, I lived in Miami for years. I lived in Florida for years. He does dress like a retired New York lady living in Miami. A little bit. But he Eli Manning was no better. Let's give the kid some style lessons. How about that? Wait, what is this? Oh, no, that's the space. That's Carl Banks space. I don't know what I did with the. I had the picture of him. Let's give the kid a little bit of a style lessons. How about that? He can fix his style. That's fine. Leave the kid. Kenneth says, "Bro, you old. You don't know swag is. Let the man live his life. This dude's always." Hey, Kenneth, fuck you, and fuck the horse you rode in on, because you were a stupid moron who doesn't deserve to even be on this show.
You need people like me so you can point your fucking fingers. I say that's the bad guy.
Boom! Motherfuckers. I ain't taking no shit no more. Sorry. I got swag. I got more swag than an Oscar bag. And only people that know the Oscars will understand that. Oh, what's up, Asmi? What's going on? Come here. Strider, what's up?
Call the ball. Slider has the ball.
Oh, what's up, big brother? Prince Paul says, Big Tim, one of my coworkers who's been following Dart for a long time said his ceiling is Drew Brees. I don't know. That's a big ceiling. The problem is people need to remember that Drew Brees wasn't Drew Brees until he signed that free agent deal with the Saints. He was good with the Chargers. He was okay with the Chargers, but he wasn't Drew Brees yet. So is it going to take that 5 years for him to be Drew Brees? I don't have that kind of time. You don't have the NFL in the mid 2000s a lot way different than it is in 2025. You don't have that kind of time now. He's a Commanders fan, by the way. Jackson Herders? I don't care. I like the Packers. Maybe Chargers, Drew Brees. Thank you, Dan the man. Big T, Brad, Tim, I saw that pass. I saw Daniel Jones all over again. I'm only bringing that pass up because of the fact, T, Brad, that was a highlight pass. That was a pass that everyone told me, that's our quarterback. And I watched it, and like I said, and you saw it too. It was a sideline pass, looked like a sideline pass. He should have thrown it. Could have done two things. He should have thrown it a little further and more to the inside shoulder. Or actually, no, it'd actually be more of that. If he's running, you have to throw it more to the outside shoulder and throw it a little further. He threw it short and to the inside where the wide receiver literally had to slow, the undrafted rookie wide receiver had to slow up and turn around, literally contorted his whole body around to catch the ball. That's not a completion in the NFL. Now, like I said, the other pass that he had, there was another pass. It was in the middle of the field. He threw it he led his wide receiver a little bit, threw it to the inside of the wide receiver and put it and dropped it, like I said, right in the bucket, right in the basket. I always call it the bucket. That's one of my old coaches. Oh, you can throw it in the bucket. Threw it right in the bucket. Beautiful ball. So I would have thought that would have been more of a highlight than that other pass. Darts throwing crooked rails. That's all right, guys. He's an interception machine, but he's a good kid. Giant fans 2026. I don't know if he's a good kid. Do we really know if he's a good kid? I don't know if he's a good kid. He seems like he's a good kid. Looks like he comes from a good family. I don't know. But you got to give him time. Like I said, I am not going to call him Daniel Jones 2.0 until at least the end of preseason. Because that makes sense. How was the X Space? I can only listen for a little bit, but the stuff I heard, then I had stuff to do. The X Space was good. It was only about an hour long, which is nice, which I think is a good amount of time for the X Spaces, because I think some of these X Spaces are very toxic. But they kept it moving. They kept a good conversation. I laughed because I even said it before. I wasn't really saying anything because I didn't want to. I have a very large personality, and people that know me outside of the show will tell you that I'm probably more larger than life in person than I am on the show. So I was trying not to be, I was trying not to, make it the Tim hour. So it was towards the end. It was the last 20 minutes. And then Carl Banks actually said, "Hey, I want to hear from Tim, Online Big Blue." And then he said something nice about me. And I love it because the one time anyone says anything nice about me, they didn't record the show. Motherfuckers. Oh, wait, I forgot the media asset. Damn it. Motherfucker. Hold on. Wait a minute. Okay, here we go. Promo code. Okay. All right, hold on. Wait a minute. Do I not have... Oh, now, I know I have the script. I know I do. I just saw it. Goodness gracious. Everyone just give me a minute. Okay, here we go. Excuse me. Give me a minute here. All right, you ready, guys? Here we go. We're going to do the first one. It's crunch time of the court in the NBA playoffs, or your chance to score big. Whether you're doing or riding with the favorites or cheering on your underdog, every three-pointer, every dunk, every buzzer beater is an opportunity to win at MyBookie. myBookie.com. Place your bet live and the action unfolds. Feeling confident? Lock in your winnings early with our quick pick cash out option. Never miss a chance to turn your basketball insight into real cash. New to MyBookie? Sign up now with the promo code MM50 and instantly boost your first deposit $50 at MyBookie. And MyBookie tosses in an extra $25 with a deposit of $100 and get a $50 and get a $50 bonus. More action, more excitement, and more chances to win during the basketball season, this intense basketball season. Plus, when the game wraps up, keep the winning alive on MyBookie.com. Casinos, slot, blackjacks, and roulette. More and more thrills. Bet anything, anywhere, anytime on MyBookie.com. Again, that promo code is MM50. That promo code is MM50 at MyBookie. All right, we got that done. We'll do a better one during the weeks. We'll do one where I pontificate my own self. But right now, I just want to. What is Coach Hayward Bay? Oh, dear Lord. Coach, didn't we get rid of you last time? Some fans don't know what's good or bad tape. I'm still waiting to see him throw with a little power because right now throws made no power as if he was just warming up. Wow, Coach, you got back into the good graces. Welcome aboard, Coach. Where do you coach, Hayward? And are you any relation to Darius Hayward Bay? I've worried about Jackson Dart's arm strength since the combine. And I've said this before, and I'm still going to keep saying it over and over again. He kind of looks like a javelin thrower. Google javelin thrower, watch that, and then watch Jackson Dart throw at the combine. And the combine, to me, is a good indication of his throwing motion because there's nobody around him. And the way he steps up on that deep pass and kind of has this more elongated, it almost kind of contorts his whole body, so he's like doing this. That concerns me still with the deep pass. Even Kurt Warner said he throws flat. And Kurt Warner said that at the combine. And one of the things that they said in scouts coming out of college was adequate arm strength, but may have some issues or consistency issues with balls 40 yards or more, and he tends to throw high. But like I said, it's May. He may come in a minicamp, mandatory minicamp. He could come in a training camp and be a totally different kid. It happens. It's weird to say, but we've talked about this before on this show. Sometimes you look at the physique of a player, and I always use Devontae Smith as an example, and kind of Jalen Hyatt. You look at a physique of a player and you say, this is what this guy is going to be. He's not really going to put on any mass. He's not going to really put on any muscle. It just looks like his body type. Jackson Dart, to me, looks like that he could put on some muscle, that he has that body type. Now, I'm not saying I don't want to hear fucking 3 years of Daniel Jones and he's bulked up every year. And I did the one video with the Hulk hands. I don't want to hear that, because bulking up is not going to make you throw better. But if you are throw deeper, but if you actually work on the muscles in your arm and your shoulder and your legs that help you drive the ball, I think Jackson Dart could do that. Petro says, I will say I'm also happy for Dable. He got the quarterback he likes. His mood has been lifted, and all it takes was cutting the cancer. Daniel Jones. Mara wants to keep. The problem always starts with the top. It always does. You're right. Hey, Timmy, what's up? Hey, Tim, should the Giants trade Brian Burns to the Chiefs or Trey Smith? No, I love you, Tim. You know I love you, man. The Chiefs are not trading Trey Smith. I'm sorry. What's up, Z? Good morning, Tim. Have my coffee and breakfast and enjoying the live stream. Go, good Big Blue. Oh, what kind of coffee are you drinking? I just finished another spicy cup of Black Rifle. I'm actually wearing one of my Black Rifle shirts as always. Oh, let's see here. Let's see. Robert says, let's look at it this way. Oh, Z, don't even get your comment up. There you go, brother. I'm sorry. Oh, I didn't click on it. Oh, but you're enjoying I'm glad you're enjoying the live stream. We always like to have some fun. Robert says, I looked at it this way. I don't think Dart will be the worst in Jones. Could he be as bad? Yes, but I don't think anyone will be worse. So there's that. You want to talk about bad quarterback play for the Giants? Of course, Google Scott Bruner and Google Mark Reed. then you'll feel better. And also, just look at Dave Brown, but then you'll feel better. Todd says it was 2 days of playing catch. Every year, all fans overreact to this stuff. You know what? The thing that kind of gets me, it's not the fans. Well, it is the fans, because then they take this and they take this dribble and that the beat writers give out. Some beat writers give out, and then take it as gospel. It's the overreaction of the giant press. We're not there. So we rely on these guys and the goof troop over here, the goof troop. We rely on these guys to literally give us information about these camps. And like I said, sitting there with Pat Leonard.
Stupid giant Twitter posts.
Literally telling us that this going to be a hard time keeping Jackson Dirt on the bench after a 2-hour practice. Strider, what's up? Good morning, Tim. Headed to work at 9 to 5. Just popping in and say hello. Go Big Blue. You're not walking? These boots are made for walking. Big Blue forever. What's going on with Carl Banks? I don't know. Gotta ask Carl Banks. Well, Carl Banks and I now, we go bowling together. People probably don't know this. I don't know what's going on. Just in general, I don't know. Maybe he's having a good day. I don't know. Why don't you go ask him? Go on Twitter and ask him. But I know what you're talking about. He's committed to coming on the show during preseason. So there we go. Strider says, Tim, I told you Boston was a good road team, but it's far from over. Pulling for the Knicks. Boston is a good road team. The Knicks are 1-4 now at home in the playoffs. Zacatech says, I'm worried that Shane Bowen is James Belcher 2.0. Scheme over team. Ooh, scheme over team. Instead, scheme to team. Oh, I like that. Zach, I am stealing that. That's going to be the video. That's going to be the video that's coming out tomorrow. I believe they were like, your podcast numbers were down over the weekend. Well, I didn't put out a podcast. Tim, I love supplements. When I was, I'm not in shape anymore, but when I was, because between my knees and my shoulders and everything else, it's hard to work out. But like I said, and I'm getting back into it right now, so maybe that's why my attitude is like, C4, man. I love C4. Not the explosives, and not that I have C4 in my house, as some people would probably think I do. I do have enough firepower here to invade Canada, but I don't have any C4. I like the supplement C4 by GNC. Strider says, I didn't know the Germans bombed Pearl Harbor, lol. That was the joke. His ceiling is the Hall of Fame, says Taylor. Yeah, it's the Hall of Fame, man. So is mine. I am still waiting for my NIL deal so I can go play at Furman. Telling you about guys, by August, I'm be ripped. I got the Bowflex back out again. I got all this stuff from Yiso Fitness in the house. Because I got to shed like 20 pounds because of the fact that my knees can't take it. It's the surgical. It was one of those things that you either lose the weight or you have knee replacement. I was like, all right, I'll lose weight. And I'm not going to take any weight loss drugs. And I don't care if people take them, and that's fine for them. I'm not going to do it that way. That doesn't get to the root cause of your problem in reference to your weight gain. That just masks the symptoms of hunger. So between my left knee, which I had the ACL replacement, and then, well, first I had the ACL surgery, then I had the ACL replacement, and then I tore my meniscus, my mid meniscus, and I strained my MCL. That's the knee. They're like, you got to do something. So I'm like, all right, I'm good. Not giving up drinking, though. Let's see. Prince says, when I said he's a Commanders fan, I was talking about his coworkers. Oh, not Jackson Dart. Oh, okay. Sorry, Prince. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry, brother. Todd says, Lon Dart is RF right now. Agree or you're not a real giant. He is rookie of the year right now. And yeah, we are a giant. Prince says, the bucket. We call it the honey hole. A honey hole is a good expression, too. We used to call it the bucket. But this was back in late 80s, early 90s. That's like one of the other expressions they don't use anymore. And I laugh because, one of my sons is still in middle school, so they play middle school football and stuff. One of the things that they don't use One of the phrases they don't use is, which we used to use on the 80s and 90s, is knock his dick in the dirt. Evidently, that's not politically correct. Big James, what's up, Big James? Let's go Knicks. Hey, Zach, it's a very hypothetical situation. What happens if Russ Wilson has the Giants at 7-3 in Week 10? What do you do with? Fuck yeah! You have Jackson Dart's had this team 7-3. I'm sending him out for coffee. I'm gonna Kafka his ass and send him out for coffee. James, what's up? What's up? Breaking news: James Williams is the biggest Dart fan, and we all know that Rob is a Taylor Swiftie. Someone asked me, where is R0B? I don't know. Doing his thing, I guess. Petro says, hell to the yeah, Tim. Professionalism at its best with Tim within reading scripts. People forget. My initial first years in school, my major was football. But my other class was broadcasting. It was broadcasting because that was basically the easiest thing you could take. So I always used to love it when I first started doing YouTube, and I had these people that swore that I was a disgraced radio personality from Miami from the 90s. Maybe I am. Dart, Zach Tech says, Dart looks like he's trying to stop that scratch with the line he throws. We're going to be good. We're going to be good. We're going to be good. Don't worry, guys. What does Prince also say? When year 2 Dart comes out with the long hair and the 6-pack and the 8-pack and the V-neck. Yeah. I'm just telling you, man, it's just weird to talk about other men's bodies. Like, hey, you know, he looks like he could gain some muscle. But as a football perspective, there is body types that you can just look at and say he is not going to gain muscle or mass. He's Popeye. He is what he is. That's Devontae Smith. It's like Wandale Robinson. Wandale Robinson is not going to grow. 580 is what he is. I've told this story before. Basketball was always my first passion. And I was actually very good at basketball. I played at the Rook. I played against guys that were street legends back in the day. And then one day, and I played in school, and I loved it because we had a recruiter from Purdue come. I've told this story a million times. We had a recruiter from Purdue come in to see another player, and then after the game, the coach said, "Hey, he wants to talk to you." And he told me, he's like, "You have a great game. You're proficient. You're tough. You're hard nosed. You rebound. You do all these things. The only problem is we don't need a 6'1" center." So he's like, "You have no outside shot." He goes, if you would have grown 9 inches, we would be scouting you. So my smart ass self was like, I'll work on that over the summer. See what I can do for you. Didn't grow 9 inches. But that's like Wandale Robinson. He's not going to get any taller. Sometimes you are what you are. And that's kind of, but when you look at Jackson Dart, you look like he has the ability to gain some necessary muscle in the right areas that will allow him to have more velocity on the football. He's got to do it. He can't do the Daniel Jones thing where like Daniel Jones gained 9 pounds of all muscle, he bulked up. Yeah, but you have to gain it in the right muscle area. And I'm not a musculologist. Probably just made that word up, which I did. But there's a science to it. I don't know the science. Slider's going to work, Mav. I'm not Mav. I'm Viper. Maverick has, Slider dropped the ball. I'm Viper. You know that. Mav is James. Prince says, Tim, you should do a live stream with black turtleneck with K. I laugh because when I lived in Miami, I used to smoke cigars, all the time. So I would have it's usually they're called the tropical breeze shirts. Cuba Vera is also the other name for them. They call them. It's the shirt that you always see the guys in Miami, the OGs in Miami wore. So I used to, man, you saw me on South Beach. I had the shorts on. I had the Cuba Vidra shirt on. I had the cigar. So Oh, Colombian coffee. Okay. Got that Colombian coffee with a little bit of French vanilla cream. Oh, I didn't know you grew a vagina. Sorry. When I drink my coffee, black. Just like my heart. French vanilla cream, though. That's not bad. Because if you do actually, I have to try it. Slider drops the ball. Slider doing, let's see, Carl. General, be careful, brother. I think you're not working. You're not walking. Carl and Timmy are dating. I love this thing because people ask me questions about, like, I don't know. Got no fucking clue, man. Talk to the man once on a stream. Now people think we're buddies. Oh, you know what's funny? When I go to games all the time, I wear the the OG shirt here. The what is that called? That jacket is the re-release of the Bad Fellows jacket from the 90s that all the Giants linebackers wore, and then they had them. Then they just re-released them. They sold them in the 90s along with the what was it? The Bill Belichick red jacket, which I have somewhere as well. I'm trying to get this off the thing here. I don't know. Okay, style. Took my style. I'm taking it back. Coming back like Return of the Jedi. How come I can't get to the banners? Media assets. Oh, here we go. I know everyone loves to see me, but I can't get this. I can't get it off the screen. All right. So, but that was the jacket, and they also had the red one in the early the mid 80s with the red jacket. I have that jacket as well. But someone asked me, do you have the original? So I went into the Giant archives and I found my original Giant jacket, my original Giant 1990 starter jacket. They made these jackets so nice back in the 90s. So you got the original starter jacket. They made these things so nice and so heavy back in the 90s. Not that the one that I have now, the re-release or remake isn't nice, but they make those jackets really nice. I'm going to wear the OG one next time we have more of a cold game. I also found my Bad Fellows poster. I didn't even know I still had that. Had that on the wall as a kid. Let's see here. Where are we? Got the Cuban. Let's see. Z says this. What does he have to say? Oh, Peter says, blink twice if you have C4 in your house. Not let's throw out some code. I have C4 from GNC. Z, what's up, Z? Also, my son is born about in 2. Oh, my son is about to be born in 2 months. His dad is a Giant fan, his nana is a Cowboy fan, and his mom is an Eagles fan. I'm calling child services right now. Right now. This is about to be a fun. He's gonna grow up. Listen, I'm gonna give you some advice here. My son is an Eagles fan. And I live in Philadelphia, so he goes to Giant games with me and stuff, and we go to events and stuff together. But he's an Eagles fan because everyone's around him is Eagles fans. So when he was really young, the Eagles won their first Super Bowl with Nick Foles. So now he's been an Eagles fan since. I always tell him he's adopted. I told him that yesterday. I told him that during Mother's Day. I told him you don't know who your mother is because you're adopted. Blackbird says, I passed my IT certification exam yesterday. Forever rocking with OB. Hey! Wait, here we go. Wait. All right. Blackbird. Congrats to the Blackbird. Passed his IT certification exam. That shit is not easy to do, man. We're proud of you, brother. Good job. That's the step to another chapter in your career. My wife does the same thing. My wife has to take all these certification tests for her job because she's getting high level in her job, but she's always got to do these different certifications to move to the next level. That's for you, brother. Great job, man. James Stein says, I hope Dirk can learn from Wilson and Winston and will be able to play at an NFL level. I hope Dable can coach this kid up and be able to. Here's my problem with Dable coaching him up. Outside of Josh Allen, look at the quarterbacks he's mentored in college, in high school, not college, in high school, in the pros. It's not a. It's a lineage of a wreck. Z, he will. What's up, Dev? I'm getting real nervous that last year's Pacers-Knicks series, when they were up 2, I know we're injured, but this ain't played good at all, minus fourth quarter and comebacks. Don't call it a comeback. I've been here for years. Dev, I'm going to tell you, man. I fucked up. I'm going to be honest with the Knicks. I fucked up. It's my fault. I'm taking full responsibility. Game 1 and 2. I went down to the man cave. I dropped the 200-inch movie screen, turned on the projector, sat down, and both times they were down by 20 in the third. The wife calls downstairs and said, they're down by 20. Why are you watching? So I said, I'm going to watch this shit to the bitter end. Both comebacks, both games. 3:30 game on Saturday. I had to go out to a Mother's Day vineyard luncheon. I was not wearing my OG Nick jersey that I have on now. I was not in my chair like I was supposed to be. I didn't have my multitudes of drinks surrounding me. What was I drinking? I was doing shots of Grand Marnier, and I was drinking something out of the tap. But I didn't have that. I don't know what's in the tap. I think Heineken's in the tap. But I didn't do this. And what happened? We lost by 20. So I have my Nick jersey on. The one I got my Nick sneakers out of the closet because I have my Nikes that are my Nick Nikes, and I am not taking this off until we win the series. It's going to get a little stinky in the OBB house, but we're not taking this shit off. What's up, Prince? Carl and Tim are texting behind the scenes. They're strategically promoting conflicting propaganda so they can increase their followers. I love it because someone's like, do you think the Believe Network had anything to do with Carl Banks or Bob Papa even talking to you? So, oh, fuck yeah. I'm not stupid. Of course they did. They saw my numbers. Blackbird says, yeah, it's weird talking about the other man's body shape outside of football. It really is. Blackbird said, me and Tim are going to become Philly fans. Oh, hell no. Hell no. First of all, the Lincoln Financial Field. I've said the only good thing about Lincoln Financial Field is this. Their holding cells are much nicer than the ones at the vet. Beautiful facilities. The officers are very nice, not like they were at Old Veterans Stadium. You cannot get a quality cheesesteak. You cannot get a quality cheesesteak outside in that freaking stadium. How was that humanly possible in Philadelphia? You walk outside my house, and I don't live close. I live like 45 minutes away from Philadelphia. You could still smell cheesesteak. We're Packer fans. What's up, Alexander? He definitely has room on his frame to add size in his upper body. Thank you. See, it's not that weird. It is a little weird. Joe Rev is the Cuba Viva is the brand, I think. That's all I wear while in Spain. You're in Spain now? Blackbird says, thank you, Tim. I appreciate you. I hope the Knicks make the finals. Oh, they're going to make the finals. I love Grand Marnier. And we got to get back talking to the Knicks about football. I love Grand Marnier. Now, Grand Marnier is, especially if you smoke cigars, and I stopped smoking cigars, but I still drink Grand Marnier. Grand Marnier is supposed to be served, and I have 50-year-old Grand Marnier in the house. I used to have 75-year-old, but I drank it all. It's supposed to be served in a sniffer, warmed. But I learned a long time ago, you could just drink it as a shot. So people like, you go to a bar and you go get a good Grand Marnier, it's like $25 a glass. And I get it as a shot. But I love Grand Marnier. I've never thought I would be into a French liqueur, but it's got this burn to it, and you drink it and you just feel like a man. And then you wash it down with a Belvedere. Stu says, is Cat playing tonight? OG sucked on Saturday. I don't know if he's playing tonight. It's going to be a really good question. Kevin G says, Jackson Dart is going to learn how to alienate his teammates from Wilson and how to throw equal amount of touchdowns 70% from Winston. I hope he doesn't. Jackson Dart right now is going to be fine. He's going to be fine, guys. Let's give him a moment to grow. And in some regards, you can say, don't forget the like button. Let's say you can also give him a moment to suck.
That's what she said.
But he hasn't even been here a hiccup. And I did the same thing with Daniel Jones. I gave Daniel Jones an opportunity until I reached a point, which happened to be week 16 of his first season, where there were so many things that I saw that were inconsistent in his play that an NFL starting quarterback should do, that I kind of I kind of started pointing this stuff out. And then that's when I was told that I was the big hater. Because I said if he doesn't learn some pocket awareness and figure out his blind side awareness, he's going to get himself killed. And I always go to that Marcus Golden sack when Marcus Golden came back to play the Giants, and he literally sacked Daniel Jones in his face, and Daniel Jones didn't even see him. So what I'm going to do with Jackson Dart is I'm going to do the same thing. Once they settle on a number, I haven't bought a Giant jersey in years. Once they settle, I should rephrase it. I have not bought a current Giant jersey in years. Once he settles on a number, I might buy a Jackson Dart jersey. It's easy to go out and buy an Abdul Carter jersey because he's the third overall pick. But I might get a Jackson Dart jersey. I'm thinking about it. Down the man says, I think my Nuggets lost the series yesterday, unfortunately, to win. The Nuggets first have to win 2 and let the game slip through their fingers. Hope I think the Nuggets are done. I watched a little bit of the Nugget game. I watched that comeback. I thought the Nuggets were in that game for a little bit, and they seemed to be fighting back, and then they just reached one point. I think they were down by 6. I think it was down by 6 with like 8 minutes in the fourth, and they never got past being down by 6. We're becoming Eagle fans for Saquon. I'm a Saquon fan over an Eagle fan. I wear the Saquon Barkley Eagles jersey. It's around here somewhere. But I'm always a fan for Saquon. Jordan says, I'm going in May, trying to sell my house in the PR. Good luck with that. Prince says, OG, I hope you sell it quick. OG has 5 years, $212 million contract. Tim, would you do that? No. I did a video that I would never give an OG Anunoby that kind of money. You're paying Jalen Brunson less. And even with the Jalen Brunson extension, you're still paying him less. Joe Rav says, I'm going back in July, trying to sell my house in the PR. Let's see here. Blackbird says, yeah, in all fairness, let's give him a chance first. Just give the kid an opportunity. But the problem is, you went out and got Jameis Winston. You went out and then got Russell Wilson. Your necessity for Jackson Dart to start is 0. Unless you start the season 0-7. And then let's say you start, because we won't know the schedule till Wednesday night, but it always gets leaked early. But unless here's the problem. You go 0-7, the biggest cheerleader for Jackson Dart is Brian Dable. If you're 0-7, you're firing the head coach. And then are we going to go back into the scenario where we say, if you want to coach the Giants, you have to come in here and tell me you can make Jackson Dart an NFL quarterback? Because we went to that through that charade with Daniel Jones. Robert says, oh God, bit off topic, but are you interested at all in the schedule release on Wednesday? Also, are there any particular road trips this year that you're interested in more than others? No, that's not off topic. I am very interested in the schedule release. Said it before. I have not relinquished my season tickets yet. The Giants have this weird thing with season tickets. I've told people over and over again about this. The Giants are weird. Why are they weird, you ask, Tim? Because of this PSL. You have to pay for a personal seat license for every ticket, which is money you pay up front to have the honor of paying money yearly for the tickets. So what you can do is after you pay off your PSL, because they also give you an option where you can spread it out over a period of time, or you just pay it all at once. I paid it all at once. But what you can do is you can sell your PSL on the PSL seat licensing website, which the Giants don't run, but they facilitate. But the problem is this. This is how they get you. You basically have to renew your season tickets and buy your season tickets and then sell the PSL with the season tickets. So let's say your PSL is $5,000 a seat. So whoever buy, and then let's just say you have these 2 seats, and let's say it's another 5,000 for all the home games. So you have to sell your PSL and your seats for 20 grand on the PSL market. I don't know a lot of people that have $20,000 to drop on the Giants. So you could sell your PSL for less. You don't have to sell it for what you could sell it for whatever you want. You can sell it for 2,000. So you can go to someone and listen, well, here's a special. You buy 5 grand, you can have PSL, and then you got to pay for the tickets. So my PSLs have been paid for years, and so now I still had to pay for the season tickets. So I keep debating whether I want to put it up on the PSL website because I'm going to lose money on the PSL. I already know that, just to get rid of the tickets. But now I'm just like, why don't I just go to the season? Why don't I just go to all the games? I'm always interested. Here's my thing. With road games, I like to go to road games. I go to Dallas every once in a while. I go to Philadelphia all the time. And I go to DC every once in a while. Well, they're not really in DC. I guess they're in Landover, Maryland. But as a road game goes, the one that I really have interest in is Washington. Because I think Washington is the barometer for where the Giants should be at. Because people forget the Giants and Washington kind of suck at the same time. So with the drafting of Jaden Daniels, the Washington's team and their free agent class from last year and their last couple drafts and everything, they're ascending. So we have to see. So Washington's ascending. I want to see how the Giants compare to that, because of the fact that the only team Dan Jones could beat with any consistency was Washington, and that kind of changed a little bit last year. So I'm kind of curious to see a comparison. I would love to be at that game, and the tickets aren't that expensive like going to New York, but I would love to go to the Washington game to see how we compare and how are we ascending along with Washington, or are they ascending higher and we're just running flat? Do you know exactly what's going on with the Gabe Davis rumors? Gabe Davis, nothing right now. I mean, you signed Gabe Davis. Why then did you give $36 million to Darius Slayton? I mean, if Gabe Davis comes in on on a veteran minimum deal, which is like $1.5 million, and comes in to compete for a starting job, then I'm all down for Gabe Davis. Let's do it. But I don't think if you see the numbers he put up in Buffalo with a Hall of Fame quarterback, and he fell apart when with Trevor Lawrence, who had a terrible year, and Mac Jones. So is he going to be any better with Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston and Jackson Dart? But I would you want to give him, you want to say, hey, listen, I mean, I'm not giving Gabe, like, I thought it was crazy I thought it was nuts when they gave Gabe Davis that money in Jacksonville. I thought they were fucking insane. But they needed a complimentary wide receiver and so another option for Trevor Lawrence. So if you want to bring him in on a lower end deal, I'm fine with that. I'm okay with that. I'm not going to complain. We got the super chat here, of course, for the King One Supreme. Tim, go to the Vegas game. My dad is a Raiders fan. Went there with him in 23. They will go this year. Awesome. You know what's kind of funny? I love Vegas. I know. Shocking. Tim likes Vegas. Who would have thought that? Alcohol, nightlife, gambling. And I have friends that live in Vegas. And they said that stadium, that stadium is freaking phenomenal. Like, that is an experience to watch a game. Listen, MetLife is a dump. MetLife looks like either the bottom of a refrigerator or the frame of but of a 2022, not even that, I'd say 2017 Cadillac. And I've said it before, I grew up in the Meadowlands. I was there in 76 when they opened the Meadowlands as a kid. And I spent most of my childhood during the fall going to the Meadowlands. And I always talk about the fact that towards the end, before they closed, I took my wife. And we were walking through the rotunda, and you had the spiral ramps that go up to the top of the stadium, and there was this liquid running down the sides, the side of the ramps, the swirlies. And I laughed because those were always great because you always went to the top of the stadium, where the top of this, and you ran down as fast as you could as a kid. I always wanted to take a skateboard there, but security always stopped us. But I laughed though because one day we're walking up to we had seats in the in the bottom level, but up on the top. So we're walking down, and she sees this liquid, and she goes, "What's that?" I go, "Well, that's urine." And she goes, "What do you mean that's urine?" I said, "And if you ever gone to the bathrooms in the old Meadowlands, there was not a lot of bathroom space. So what people used to do is pee on the wall." So what happened is you pee on the wall outside the bathrooms. It just went down the little circle of things. So I would love to go to the Vegas game. Tell your dad I'll go hang out with him. Tell him I'm an expensive date, but I'll go hang out with him. I always love when people meet me at games. They're always like, "You're just so nice." Of course I'm nice. You're buying me drinks. Of course. I'm always nice to be able to buy you drinks. Pete Throws says, I still think that wide receiver number 2 is a major hole of this team, but don't want Gabe Davis to be. I don't think Gabe Davis is the answer at the second wide receiver position. I think he is Darius Slayton 2.0. And Darius Slayton has more familiarity with what Dable / Kafka has been running the last going on 4 years now. It's not that I don't think Gabe Davis can come in, but Gabe Davis to me is Darius Slayton 2.0. Do you really, and you just gave Darius Slayton $36 million to be the number 2. Sorry, I just laugh. I said number 2 to be I know, like 8, and to be the number 2 outside on the other side of Malik Neighbors. I've said this before. Can we just make Wan'Dale Robinson Darren Sproles? They're not going to be 100% similar player because Darren Sproles had more speed, but can we just put him in the Darren Sproles model in reference to an offense? The quietest 90 receptions I've ever seen because he's 2 yards in a cloud of dust. And he still hasn't learned yet, in my opinion, how to properly catch the ball in the NFL. Said it before when we drafted him. If you're getting pulled down from behind at Kentucky, you're not getting much of a yak in the NFL. Petro says, I feel like him and Slayton are too similar. Yeah, similar players. That's what I said. What does Robert said? Gabe Davis benefit from playing with Josh Allen. He better be humbled off of going to Buffalo to save his career. I agree. Tim, the question is, what would you do with, what would I do with the $225 million? What would I do with $225 million? I can't retire because I already retired. I would retire again. I would more than retire. I thought the question was, what would I do with him? Here's my thing. What would I do if I gave OG Anunoby $212 million? I would make sure that he was a focal point of the team. He is a very integral part, along with Bridges, on that defensive exterior, being those 3-and-D guys, being these wing guys. But he's got to step up. You got to pay like you're worth more than Brunson. Gabe Davis says Robert benefits from playing with Josh Allen. He better be humbled going back to Buffalo to save his career. I would go back to Buffalo personally. Blackbird says at one point I thought Dable was a good coach. I gave Dable the benefit of the doubt season 1 because he started 7-2. But we said this before. If you take a look at that 7-2 start, they don't miss the field goal. You lose that first game, and then it's a different scenario. Jacksonville, you don't stop them at the 1, and you don't have those 2 interceptions called back. You don't win that game, so you're already a losing record, and then you finish out 2-5-1. It's like I said, it was a tale of 2 seasons. So, Down the Man says Philly and Dallas week 1 for the first time since 2000. I didn't know it's been that long. C-Mac, what's up? I'd rather have Jackson Dart and Abdul Carter than Cam Ward alone. No, I got to disagree with you, see. Cam Ward is supposed to be a transcendental player. He's supposed to be that next Jaden Daniels. You could get away with not having Abdul Carter because you have Brian Burns and Kayvon Thibodeau. And you also picked up the kid from Dallas. You can get away with not having Abdul Carter. And there is more of a chance that Jackson Dart is going to be a bust over Cam Ward. Then I still have the 34th pick I still have that later third rounder, and I still have my third rounder from last year, so I can still go and get a tight end. I don't have a problem with Darius Alexander. I don't have a problem with him, but he is an undersized defensive end who is known more for his pass rushing moves. He was also the 13th defensive tackle taken in that draft. I could have grabbed a bigger body, a better running mate that's going to do the dirty work on the inside with Dexter Lawrence instead of getting another undersized pass rushing defensive end. So, no, I have to disagree. I would have taken Cam Ward, still had my assets if we didn't win that game against Indianapolis, and would have been able to pick up a tight end. Still got Cam Scatterbo, and probably picked up a more proficient defensive end against the run who will do the little things. And like I said, I hate that cliche. He does the things that don't show up on the stat sheet. Hate that cliche, but it makes sense. So no, I gotta disagree with that, brother. Blackbird says, I'll be at the Giant and Washington game this year again. I was at the Giant annual at Washington because I'm thinking of going. I'm thinking of going to what is it? It's in Landover. I'm thinking of going next year to Washington. Petro says, I think the Washington may struggle a bit this year because their schedule was very easy. Last year it was the same as the Giants made the playoffs. Definitely have a good pieces in place, but still need time. Their schedule is just like the Giants' schedule. And the Giants finished with 3 games last year. So I agree. We definitely have to see what happens. Z says, thanks for the advice, Tim. Hope my son falls in his dad's footsteps and we're going to have the same thing you tell your son. I'm glad I came across your channel, my first go-to channel for the New York Giants. Z, you got to get out more, brother. But I really do appreciate it, man. And like I said, it's exciting being a new dad. Or not a new dad. It looks like do you have other kids? I should ask that before being a new dad. But congratulations. Make sure you come back when your son is born. What do you guys have a name yet? Because that's always a fun process. Blackbird says, I wonder what Neighbors thinks of Dart. Neighbors loved Shedeur Sanders. We figured that out. He went on Carmelo's podcast and basically said that he loves Shedeur Sanders. Basically said that. So I don't know. We'll find out. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. It will be fine. It'll be fine. It'll be fine, guys. It's still May, guys. Dan the Man says, I think MetLife literally looks like the Giants trash can when we once in 2011 haven't been back since. I know. T Brad, what's up, T? Hit that like button. T, are you home? Are you around, T Brad? I was gonna drop the link in for a little bit. I didn't know if you were home, T. I didn't know if you were working. Let's see here. Prince says, I wish MetLife was the one of these new stadiums. At worst, AT&T. MetLife has so much appeal as a 90s Accord. Your dad is only 10 years older than I am. So I know. I love it. Well, I love it on Twitter. On Twitter and on the YouTube channel itself. And I love the morons because I just go off on them because they're so fucking stupid. They go, yeah, boomer. Yeah, boomer. Yeah, boomer. I'm like, I'm Gen X stupid. And let me now show you why I'm Gen X. Let's see here. I should say I'll be 56 next year. I just had a birthday. Let's see here. MetLife looks like a toaster. Had an HVAC unit pregnant, and they decided to dress the baby in Venetian blonde.
That's what she said.
Oh my God. Good morning. I say, what's going on? Good morning, Mr. Tim. How do you see the season shaping out this year? I hope the season shapes out well. But right now I can't even tell you, man. Let's get into mandatory minicamp. Let's get a little bit of an idea. I still don't know what the identity of this team is. Is what's the theme of this organization this year? I mean, not theme, but what's going to be our identity? Because we have this mix mash of parts that, and I said it last year, that just doesn't kind of go together, but it kind of does, but it doesn't. So we got to kind of see what happens. I'm going to put the needle on the record. And I'm going to put the link in the chat here. So T Brad or anyone, I know James is probably working, or anyone's floating around and wants to stop on and say hello to it for a few minutes. I'll have to read another commercial if you don't. Let's see. We'll have to wait and see what happens. Let's see here. Yes, the Giants in Washington. Oh, Giants at Washington. Okay, well, you know what? If it's down, I might be there. I might be there. I'll definitely have to see if I can't find you. Robert says, I'm thinking of going to Vegas and New England this year, but we'll see where those games fall in this. That's the other thing. You got to see where the games fall out. I got to do a Cali trip, sometime in the fall. So if it breaks out that way, I'll definitely go there. Blake, what jersey is that Knicks you are wearing or warning? Oh, you want to laugh? This is a Rasheed Wallace 2012-2013 Knicks jersey. Rasheed only played in 21 games, only played 14 minutes a game, but he was such a factor in that Knicks season for the young Knicks. And I met him. My seats for the Knicks game are we are not the first row, not the second row. We are the third row under the basket. And he actually during warmups I was kind of jawing back and forth with him. I was just being a dick. I was just being me, talking about how old he is and all this stuff. And he stopped and he walked over. And he's walking over in front of me, and I'm like, oh shit, Rasheed Wallace is going to kill me. Because Rasheed Wallace, and he was old, but he was still a big guy. He's a big guy. I was like, he is going to freaking kill me. But he came over and we started talking. And I think we probably chatted, I don't know, for like I guess during the shoot arounds, because they didn't change sides of the court. We probably chatted for like 20 minutes about the Knicks, about just everything else. And I was like, dude, this guy, I was like, I was like, okay. And at the end, I said to him, I said, dude, I just got to say, I'm sorry. I said, I'm sorry that I was on you so bad during the warm-ups. And then and I loved it because he went to me, don't apologize. And I looked at him, I said, all right, well, fuck you then. And then he started laughing. So ever since that, I was like, well, you know what? I was a Rasheed Wallace fan, so I went out and had his jersey made, and then a couple of games later, we were back in, and I was showing him, and he's like, I was like, all right. So yes, it is a Rasheed Wallace jersey. Jackson Dart or Daxon Dart. Daxon Jart. You really started with the Daxon Jart already with Jaden Jones. I love it, man. I love it. Pedro says, Tim, I thought you didn't have room for new friends. Just kidding. Welcome to the family. See, I don't have room for new friends in real life. Because I always say this, someone's got to go. Pedro is pretty funny. You remember that. Somebody's got to go away first. I've said this before. Friends want to do things. I got screwed on Saturday for having friends and having to go to this Mother's Day thing and missing the Knicks game. Why? Because I had friends. I moved to the middle of nowhere in a bunker because of the fact that I don't want any friends. I love everybody. Everybody knows that. Pete Z says, oh, it's my first kid, and we're down to like 3 names. Honestly, might come down to the day he is born. Question is, who is leading the charge on the names? That's the question. Blackbird said, who had a better season? Odell. Not even. I don't even need to. Who had a better season? Brian Thomas Jr., Ladd McConkey, or Neighbors? Brian Thomas Jr., Ladd McConkey. Neighbors didn't turn the switch in reference to the yak until like 2 games. His yards per catch was under 9.3, I think, until the last 2-3 games of the season. I should rephrase it, until the Indianapolis game. And then he finally got it over 10 because he was not getting any yak. And he finally broke free. Brian Thomas Jr., who had equally poor quarterback play with Trevor Lawrence and Mac Jones, had a phenomenal rookie season on a team that had offensive talent. Neighbors was it. So you threw Neighbors the ball 497,000 times. You think you would have had more of a yak. James says, I just hit the fucking like button. Towns, you better show up tonight. Yeah, I might have to play. Depending on the schedule, we have this could be a tough year ahead of. Oh, it's a tough year ahead of us. Hopefully, Wilson and Winston can get more than 3 wins on Dable and Shane are toast. Now, I think more Dable is toast than Shane. Herbologist, smash the like button. Herbologist says MYG5 MetLife is the dump because half of the $1 billion price tag was skimmed off the top by the Sopranos union. You would think you spent $1 billion on a stadium. And this was $1 billion, what, 2011, 2012? You would think you would spend $1 billion on a stadium that a freaking spaceship, this is like going on like 15 years now, would have fallen out of the sky and been like the stadium that the Raiders have. You thought that would have happened. That I was excited. I hate Dallas. I like the city. People are nice. Hate the team. But that stadium is phenomenal. That stadium is phenomenal to watch a game in. You go to MetLife, and there's just not this atmosphere that you had in the Meadowlands. First of all, when you were a kid driving down the 16W on the turnpike, and you looked off to the left-hand side, you saw it. Big red letters. Giant Stadium. You knew you were there. You could see it from like exit 15. And you got excited because you got New York on the one side. We had the Trade Tower. We had World Trade Center over there still. You could see it. You could just see a giant stadium. And as a kid, that was the greatest thing in the world to see. Now you drive up to MetLife, they got to change everything. And I hated when they had to change out everything to green when the Jets first came to Giant Stadium. I hated that. And I hate the fact that they just flip a switch now. Oh, turn on the green lights, turn on the blue lights. I don't think we have this identity. And I think the Giants lost their identity after that 2011 season because of the fact that they just, the home field advantage is, one of the things I used to love about RFK Stadium in Washington and used to watch in the early 80s. And if you were ever there in the early 80s, the stands would literally bounce. The whole stadium would bounce. That's how ruckus this place was. Giants, the old Meadowlands was the same way. The old Meadowlands was such a family atmosphere, though, but it was, you literally had this home field advantage. I don't think we've had that since. And I don't know if it's the way fans are now, but like I said, if you went to that place in the 80s and the 90s, oh, dear Lord, you couldn't hear. I remember the toilet paper game in '86 in the playoffs. I was there against Washington, where it was so windy and everything was swirling around. You had toilet paper. It looked like a ticker tape parade. I don't know. That's my get off my lawn moment. NYG5 MetLife is a dump because half. Oh, we already got to that. Let's see here. It's a vegetarian. What? Okay. Sosa. What's up? Oh, okay. Let's see here. Douglas says, I think the best we could do this season is 9-8, and that is generous. That is very generous. Big Hall says, the god of giant YouTubers goes by the name of Tim. Thank you. I wish that was true. Girl, you know it's true. Petro says, if your rush doesn't come home often this year, we are so blanked with the capital F. Everyone has their rituals to bring Wink back or someone similar. I trust our corners. I don't trust our corners in the Shane Bowen system. Bring back Wink. Go get Steve Wilkes. Do something. Jabari, what's up, Mr. Bruce? I haven't seen you in a while. Tim, have you seen the commercial for the movie Him? Movie looks insane. No, actually, I haven't. I'm waiting for 28 years later to come out. I'm waiting for that movie. I want to see 28 years later. I'm a big fan of that series, and that genre, because like My wife doesn't like it, but I love horror movies. I like zombie movies. I like apocalypse movies. I like dystopian movies. And she's always like, why are you watching that in this house? And I laugh though because the new dog loves watching TV, and it's great because now I finally have a partner to watch movies with. Awesome, Dynamite's awesome stories, Tim. I always liked Rasheed Wallace, no matter what team he was on. Oh, I loved Rasheed Wallace. Like I said, I loved him. He was, like I said, outside of John Starks, Charles Oakley, and Patrick Ewing, Rasheed Wallace was probably the nicest Nick I ever met. And we've told the story on this channel before. I mean, Ewing, Starks, and Oakley are my favorite Knicks because we all spent a night out together after running into them at the Fridays. This was back in the 90s when they had a Fridays right next to, I don't know, maybe the Fridays is still right next to MSG. But they literally showed up on a Fridays on the way to the club to grab something to eat, and I ran into them with me and my friends, or my one friend, and the next thing I know, we're at a club, and then we're at an adult club with Oakley and John Starks and Patrick Ewing. Which was, like I said, they were I can't say why, but they were literally my favorite my favorite Knicks. They could do no wrong. It's Notorious TIM. Morris Day and the Time. Morris Day and the Time. We got to talk about Knicks and stuff and Giants stuff. I love Morris Day and the Time. I was just listening to Jerk Out. Baby, don't get too comfortable because I really like Sleep Alone. Leave me your name and your number by my data bank. I love you, but you got to go. Jerk Out. Oak Tree. Gonna put you to the test. Oak Tree, because everyone knows Morris is the best, is probably one of the most underrated songs of the 80s. That and Jungle Love. Girl, I've been watching you. I think I wanna know you. You drive so dangerous. Oh, love Morris Day. Saw him in concert in a small club once. Petro says, you think Eli will get the stake in the team? I don't care. You're buying 10%. You have no control over anything. I own 1,000th or 2 or 3 1,000ths of a share of Green Bay Packer stock. I have the stock certificates and everything. I have just as much power to do things and do things for the Packers that these people spending $500 million on for 10% of the Giants have. I could go to shareholder meetings with the Packers. This guy is the worst. Thank you, William. I really appreciate it. William, you just fill my heart with glee and joy because I was not aware that there was someone as stupid as that one guy we already banned. So you have fulfilled my heart with the thought process that there are more morons out there who are unintelligent in regards to life and football. Thank you.
That phrase trademark, not to be used outside permission, Ricky Bobby.
Put him in timeout. Put his ass in timeout. Let's see here. Lowell, thanks. Happy to have your Petro. Oh, you're talking to Petro. AT&T feels like Cowboy Stadium. MetLife feels like stadium the Giants happen to play in. Oh, that's a good way to put it. I miss the Meadowlands. MetLife is atrocious. Stanley says, hey, Tim, do you think the Knicks we are beating? I have the Rasheed Wallace jersey on. The chair is ready. I am going to put a fresh keg in the tap, in the keganator. I have a bottle of Grand Marnier on standby. My seat and ritual that won us the first 2 games is ready. I take full blame and full responsibility for the New York Knicks losing on Saturday because I had to go to this party. And I didn't get to sit in my chair. I am not superstitious. Yeah, I am. So, but I take full responsibility for the Knicks losing. I do. And I'm going to keep telling people that all the time. Wait a minute.
I'm not.
Oh, there we go.
I'm not superstitious, but I am a little stitious.
See, with the soundboard, the best way to do it is just push all the buttons at once, and then you find the sound effects looking for. Hey, Tim, Steve Wilkes, what about? Oh, God, when Steve Wilkes got fired by the 49ers, Captain Roberts, I don't need to read the rest of the comment, but I'm going to. When he got fired from the 49ers, I was so pissed. I was like, you just needed to wait a week. And you had a defensive coordinator that still fits the wink philosophy that you had already run for a couple seasons, and the players are in place. Hey, Tim, Steve Wilkes would have been a great DC for the Giants if he wasn't the current DC for the Jets. Hopefully they can find a wink SDC. Steve Wilkes got fired a week after we hired Shane Bowen. Favorite player from the draft not named Abdul? Giant player or just player in general? Because I got to go with Cam Scattaboo. Here's my thing. Cam Scattaboo is going to be a 2-down back. He showed at Arizona State that he showed that he could run over guys that weren't going to be in the NFL. He didn't run at the combine. He didn't run at his pro day. He only ran at private workouts, and he ran anywhere between a 4.6 and a 4.7. So there's always a difference between speed and football speed, but his type of speed is like Wayne Gallman-esque. Why I think he's not going to be able to run over guys like he did in college, which is fine. But I do think he is going to be enough of a setup bowling ball type back that's going to help punch Tracy through the line. So I got to go. If you're going that, I'm going Cam Scattaboo. MetLife is a corporate crowd. Yeah, MetLife kind of is. Robert, Knicks in 5 or 6? Knicks in 4. Knicks in 6. You ask me why? You want the official NBA breakdown of why it's Knicks in 6? Because it rhymes. Petro says, what do you think the first person to get fired this year? Brian Dable. If the Giants go like 1-6, 1-7, Brian Dable's getting fired. You have to finally show an offensive improvement. First of all, it was all Mike Kafka's fault. Oh, Mike, I hated the Mike Kafka hire. I said it day one. You are bringing in a guy with no experience and expect as an offensive coordinator on any level. He might not even have been an offensive coordinator on Madden. And you're expecting him to come into the NFL and diagnose NFL defenses and counter what NFL defenses are doing and run a consistent offense. But he actually did it at times better than Brian Dable did the last 2 years. So if Brian Dable evidently says, I'm giving the playbook back over to Mike Kafka, it's been 3 years now. He's done getting coffee. 2 creams and 1 sugar. He's now going to call plays. But if the offense doesn't improve an iota, Brian Dable's gone. I'm leading the charge for my baby's name. I think she likes one of her names. She tested it the other day while we're out watching SWAT on Netflix because the baby won't stop moving. I was gonna say, are you gonna name him Shamar? Because isn't Shamar Moore on SWAT? And I'm really ashamed that I know that. I'm really ashamed I know that. I've never even watched SWAT. I've seen the commercials. Seen the old SWAT. Zacatech says the Mets and the Giants will save New York. The Mets are better, man. I'm not looking. The pitching's got to hold up, but that's okay. Mets can't even save themselves, right? Yeah, had a little problem. We had what? But we still took. What do we the last 6 games? We're still 4-2, I think. And now we're going to Pittsburgh, or I don't remember if we're playing Pittsburgh at home or away. Stanley says, hey, Tim, do you think the Colorado Buffaloes will win the national championships next season? No. The predictor is not even an offensive coordinator on Madden is hilarious. I don't know. I'm just taking a guess. You brought in this guy, and I loved, oh my God. Make sure you hit the like button, guys. I loved other content creators because James would send me clips. They were drooling over Mike Kafka. Oh my God, he's gonna be so great. And I kept literally sitting there going, this guy is never called a play on any level, but somehow you think that he is going to be the most awesomest player in the history of the world. I didn't see it. I didn't get it. It's difficult enough to bring in a guy that has no experience, but then you want him to work with Daniel Jones. I feel bad for Mike Kafka because he was not only handicapped by not having the experience, but he was given Daniel Jones. Brian Dable, outside of college, was basically a failed offensive coordinator. If you look at what he did at Cleveland and his other stops, he got fired in every other place. He got fired by his own mentor, but he only turned into Brian Dable after he landed on Josh Allen. You're Mike Kafka, former quarterback of the Eagles. You're Mike Kafka. You had never called him to play on any level, high school, college. You never been an offensive coordinator, but you were given the keys to Daniel Jones and said, you need to make him a what you got. You need to make him a good NFL quarterback and run an offense with him. I kind of feel bad for the guy. When you look at it from perspective, Tom, will there be Met videos? Well, Prince, I'll have to ask Tom. When Tom comes in to work, I'll ask him. No Met videos. I am a Met fan. I'm a huge Met fan. I'm a huge Met fan. My first Met season was 83, which was the Darryl Strawberry rookie season and the year that Tom Seaver came back, and then we left him open. We left him unprotected. I'm not going to get into that. Can the Giants improve? Please be watchable for a bit. Zach, I hope they are watchable for more than a bit. I really do hope they are. Zach, how was school going? And why you have to be very close to graduating, and I hope to God you're studying instead of watching this. And I love you, but you're gonna get your ass in trouble with me if you don't graduate this year. All right, you got to do it, man. This is the year. This is the year of Zach. You got everything going on that we talked about outside of school. This is it, man. Wonder what happened to Saeed. He used to go to Miami. He used to be on the show all the time. I don't know where he went. Disappeared like a year ago. Probably figured out it was too rough. I used to yell at him. Graduate. We have alumni from this show, Zach, that have graduated. One guy, he's not even a kid anymore. He's Mr. Bronner. He's a weatherman. I watched him go through the University of Florida. Now he's getting his master's. And he's on TV. I love when people go, you're so invested in the people that watch your show. Yeah, I'm retired. I got nothing else going on. I got nothing else going on. I'm a busybody. I get into everyone else's business. Mr. Alvarez says, I hope we have a Subway Series this year. That would rule. I don't think it's going to happen, but it would rule. It's the Yankees I worry about the Mets pitching, but the Yankees, they're hitting now, but they got to hit more outside of Judge. Judge had another 4-hit game the other night. Principal, ask Tom. This is Tim. He knows, man. He knows, Zach. Everyone saw the Chiefs offensive coach and fell in love, but they didn't love Eric Bieniemy. No Shamar Moore. I never really watched when it first came out. I recently got into it. It's a very good show, but I can't wait for football to be back on. I don't watch a lot of TV shows because I don't know. I don't like TV. I don't know why. But I watch a lot of movies. But there's this show that was like and I watch weird shows. Like I like the show Luther, which is a detective story from the UK. And then the Netflix made it into a movie. That's a good show. But there's a show on the SAS, which is basically like the British version of the Navy SEALs. And I keep seeing these clips come up on watch this young hip kid stuff. I keep seeing these reels come up. And that looks like a good show. So I actually found it. So I'm gonna watch that. That's gonna be my show now to watch because my last show I watched, I used to watch Reacher, but I stopped. I don't remember why. And I know there's a whole new season, but I I'll try this SAS. Doesn't matter what you're a Yankee fan or not a Yankee fan. Judge has been doing over the past. Judge has been historic. You're 100% correct. But Judge needs help. Let's see. Kevin, what's up, Kevin? Jackson Darts fits the Jersey Shore build more than Jersey Shore Tommy. No. Jackson Dart is not Jersey Shore Tommy. Not even close. If you used to go down to the shore down to Jersey, I used to go down here years ago. Jersey Shore Tommy is what you used to see back in the late 80s, early 90s. That's what you would see. He does not fit. You will never have anyone be other than Jersey Shore Tommy. And I'm trying to find Jersey Shore Tommy song, but I can't find it. You want to know why? I can't find it.
These are the ABCs of me, baby.
I can't find it. Oh, here we go. Jersey Shore Tommy. Wait for the beat to drop. I couldn't find it. Wait for the beat to drop. Couldn't find it. Couldn't find the button.
That's what she said.
Graduate May 18th, and I got 3 A's and 2 B's. Okay, well, first of all, let's all congratulate Matt, Controller Zach. May 18th graduation. West Virginia University. I'm not happy with the 2 B's. Because in this house and the OBB house, you get A's. Ask my kids. You get A's. You don't play football? You get A's. Congratulations, Zach. Proud of you, man. Stanley says, hey, Tim Hayes, Russell Wilson starting, and the team has a strong free agency. I'm predicting 10-7. Don't see it with the schedule. But you could predict it away, Stanley. Predict away. Way to go, Zach. Tommy the Guido. I can't say anything, man. I drove for years in 1983 gold and beige Camaro Z28. Had that car for years. Logic Finest, that's how Jersey I was. I'm from Jersey. Not really from Jersey, but I lived in Jersey more than any place else in my life until Miami, Pennsylvania. Say it with me, the Giants are bad. We are bad for the season, at least the next 2 seasons. Hoping for anything good is useless because Mara has his choice and his staff. We'll be fine. We're probably right, though. Can't believe autocorrect Tom instead of Tim. I felt mortified. Prince, you almost got banned.
Get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
But I was giving you the chance. Some movies are greater than TV. TV is what nowadays it feels like it's a chore to keep up with it all, unless it's a franchise. Watch a movie in one sitting and you're done. That's what I do. That's exactly what I do. Because then with TV, all of a sudden, it's the summer. So now the series is over until the summer's over. Movies come out all the time. And there's a plethora of old movies.
I'm not superstitious.
Gentlemen, which brings me to my next point.
You say I have a plethora of piñatas?
What is button 1 now? That's King of the Almost Sack. What was 2? Oh, yeah. That's me on the bass. Bringing it to you live. On the Love Hour. Let's see here. It's doom and gloom. It's reality. Let's see. Robert says you had me fist pumping there with the beats. I'm not gonna lie to you. I mixed that beat. I am a mixologist. I just gotta figure out what button that is. We have so many sound effects, and then I need a bigger sound effect board. I have a instant replay hard disk drive Studio 2.0 360 system with hotkeys, and there's only 50 hotkeys. And then you're supposed to be able to like add other banks of keys, but this system is like from an old radio station, so I don't know how to do the bank thing. But I'll always have.
Jersey Shore. Copy.
See, then you go like this. And I always kick this in. You gotta go. Wait for the beat to drop. There you go. Let's see. I only see 3 games we could possibly win this year. I'm looking at 5 wins. 5 wins. What's up? What do we got here, Mr. Esquire? Zach, congratulations. Tim, 2 Bs, and 2 Bs are not 2 Bs. That is the question. Wu-Tang called themselves the Killer Bees. Mr. Esquire, you got the post of the day on that one. Logic fine says the Giants will be fine. I heard that from the last 10 years. There's nothing that's changed. Absolutely nothing. Let's see. Not labeling since 2021. You're right. My football group chat has watched college football and the NFL telling me the Giants got a steal in Dart. It's making me anxious. We got a steal with Daniel Jones. Listen, Jackson Dart is going to be Jackson Dart. He's not going to be Daniel Jones. He's not going to be Josh Allen. I hate when people say, he's going to be this. He's going to be Lawrence Taylor. No, Lawrence Taylor's Lawrence Taylor. Abdul Carter is going to be Abdul Carter. Jackson Dart's going to be Jackson Dart. Jackson Dart is going to find his own way, his own foothold in the NFL, and he is going to be his own player. But the question is going to be this. Is this player going to be good? I don't know, because I see a lot of things coming out of college that concerns me. I see a lot of things that it comes from the Lane Kiffin system, who is not known for producing quarterbacks, not looking at the likes of Matt Barkley and some of his own other proteges. I'm not saying that. Kiffin does this thing. He does what Pat Shurmur does. He makes you a one-read quarterback, and I love the one scouting report on Jackson Dart. Well, he cuts the field. Kiffin cuts the field in half, and he gives him one read. But sometimes, but most of the time, he does that read well. Well, if you only have one read, you better do it well. And the biggest question of Jackson Dart, and it's still a question, is he going to have the ability to go through all his progressions and completely scan an NFL landscape when you have that rush in front of you? I don't know. But let's just let Jackson Dart be Jackson Dart. Tim not labeling since 2021. It's been 4 years. I have not labeled the soundboard yet. I'm working on it. I bought labels. I did. Shut up, Zach. You got 2 Bs. I'm not going to deal with you and your 2 Bs. My house, you would be punished. Oh, well, no, these aren't labels. This is the mounting putty.
That's what she said.
I used it behind me. So these aren't labels. Okay. So I don't have any labels. Fucking sue me. Let's see here. Tim, I feel like the Knicks lose tonight. The series is over. If we lose the series, I think the Knicks will make a blockbuster trade in the off. The problem with the Knicks is they built this team to beat Boston. Bridges, Cat, they built this team to beat Boston. Now the problem is going to be this. You don't beat Boston, yes, you are screwed. But it's not the starting 5. It's the fact that you have no bench. You have no bench. Never had. This entire season is built off of 5 guys and smoke in a cloud of dust. So you need to find a bench. Getting someone like a Quickly. So go out and get someone like, go back to the old 90s Pistons. Go out and get someone like a Microwave, Vinny Johnson. We don't have a bench. Hey, Stanley says, hey, Tim, have you ever partied in, yeah, actually I have in Belmar. Yes, I have. Spent a lot more time in Seaside, though. Let's see here. Also, a friend of mine, if Jart shines during camp of practice, don't be surprised if they start in October. All of them keep saying he's Drew Brees. He's not Drew Brees. He's going to be Jackson Dart. Lane Kiffin win games. I've said this on the thing, Zach, and Zach is very astute for saying this, even though he got 2 Bs. I love you, man. I love you, Zach. I'm very proud of you. Very proud of you after everything that you had gone through at West Virginia and everything that it took you to get where you're at now, that you are graduating May 18th. Another OBB alum graduating. That to me is more important than any Giant win. When one of you guys graduates or gets his IT certificate like Blackbird did, that's life. And that's what a lot of people don't get about this show. Yeah, we talk about Giants all the time. We talk about basketball. But we also talk about life. That's life. So congratulations to Blackburn. Congratulations to Zach and everyone else out there. Oh, and Strider went out and got a new job when he's not walking. Prince says, Tim, do you think the Knicks will, to prosper, they have to get rid of Tibbs because you got to get rid of Tibbs because he doesn't play rookies, and he has no propensity of playing the bench. Different than Boston has a good bench, and that's the problem with the difference is Boston, they have a good bench and utilize them. Mr. Logic, Big Tim, did you make Mother's Day special for Mrs. Online Big Blue? She deserves it, as all do the wives. The mother's my best to you and your family. Yes. I missed the Knick game because we took Mrs. Oh, first of all, I love Celtic Pride. Oh my God, Celtic Pride was one of my favorite basketball movies. What you had Dan Aykroyd, Daniel Stern, Damon Wayans. Oh my God, I love that movie. I mean, I used to quote Celtic Pride all the time. Because of the fact that, you had Lewis Scott and you had Shooter McGavin as Coach Kimball. And I love the one scene at the end. I'm gonna get to this all in big. I love the one scene at the end of that movie when Lewis Scott he comes in late, so the coach benches him, and the coach is yelling at him, and he goes, "You like that? You like that? You're being benched. You like that? You like that? That's what you get because you don't show up. You're not a team player. You're being benched." And then he walks one way, and then he walks back and says, "Get in there." It's like his benching literally lasted a whole 30 seconds. Oh my God, that's like I said, all I do is watch movies. Oh, and I love it because I used to call Hartenstein. I used to call him Lurch because of Celtic Pride, because the Lurch with him. And I also love it because there was the one scene when they're talking trash to Lewis Scott, both Mike and Jimmy. And at one point, Mike yells out, "Hey, Scott, I heard Manute Bull's banging your mom." And then I love it because Jimmy would always goes, "Yeah, Manute Bull, your mom." So, I'm sorry. You people get me off too much. Did you ever see the movie Celtic Pride? Maybe we prevent Spike from going to the game and the same movie, but you got to get them there. He's jinxing the team. But yeah, I did something nice to Mrs. OBB. The thing, and I'm joking about it. I had set up this fancy where it was set up this little soiree at a winery down the street from us. It's not that street, but it's not far away. And I invited friends, and I didn't tell her. So then, we had the tent then going on, then we had the friends there, and then we showed up, and then she was very excited. So it was a fun day. At what point in the season do you think Neil plays guard? I think he starts at training camp as guard because evidently, according to Carl Banks, my new best friend, he's already playing guard now. Hey, Big Blue for Life, what's up, my brother? Hey, Tim, hope all is well. How was your Mother's Day? How was everything going on there? Hopefully you guys had a fantastic time. Dan the Man says, we love them when you're playing, Larry, but the Leprechauns now have left the building. Oh, that's when they met. Yeah, that's yeah. That's a good one. That was a good one too. Let's see. I also love it when Lurch is going to throw down his death row shit. Joe Shane screwed up. What? Yeah, I've said it before. People think I'm a cheese, but how can you really screw up 5 and 7? Oh, he screwed up 5 and 7 real well. I want to thank everyone that's been watching for this long. It's been fun as always. Everyone that's been watching on this thing, because we got a lot of people. We got over 100-something people watching on this thing. I'm not going to say that we only have like 50 people on the actual thing that you're supposed to be watching on, but we're not going to say that because that would just be mean. We're going to have a video out, I think, tomorrow and a podcast. We are also going to have the new partner starting, I think, Wednesday, which is Southern New Hampshire University. If you're looking for a degree in sports management, they have one. Don't luck into an NFL and AFL job like I did. Go get that degree. Go get that piece of paper. So I'm going to be talking about that over the next couple of days as well. Mr. Taz, you're late. I got to jump out early. Mr. Taz is late, but he says Eagles open up with the season of Dallas. That's always good. That's it. We always gotta love that. Lewis Scott says, "This is a black thing." Michael, oh please, if the Orioles were in the pennant race and the Red Sox, we would have tied up Cal Ripken. He is as white as they come. Petra says, "Thank you, Tim. Hope you had a great rest. Hope you guys all have a great rest of your day. I really do gotta check out here because I gotta be somewhere by 1:00, and it's gonna take me 20 minutes to get there. So let's hope the DeLorean is in the garage. Hope everyone has themselves a good day. This is Tim, New York Giants Straight Talk, powered by Online Big Blue LLC. Check us out on the Believe Network. Check us out the podcast rebroadcast on Believe. And you know what, guys? I'm out of here. Have yourself a good, safe rest of the day.